Hey guys, it's me again. So I figured we could spend just one short video just discussing the kind of the panels themselves and make sure we don't get caught up in the kind of panelization processes that happen inside of curtain wall families. We're going to try and keep this as simple as possible, right? So that being said, let's do Revit Stream here. We've got really got our mullions set up. We got our curtain wall grid set up. We can also get our kind of panel families set up. So I'm just using a tab selector. These are unpinned, but these are our system panels. So the system panels live kind of within the curtain wall family. Currently, we've only got two. We've got the glazed and the solid. So one thing that always caught me up when I was doing this, when I was just starting out, was I would always be trying to make the panel, come on, tab. You can see how frustrating this can be sometimes. There we go. You should see in the type selector tool, we've got system panel here. You can set this to any one of our wall types. So just be careful with this. You know, you can have a brick. If I make this, let's make this all hidden line here. I can have a brick wall as part of a curtain wall family. This starts to get pretty advanced pretty quickly, but I do think that this could be a very powerful tool when it comes to generating curtain wall families can be a very powerful tool at generating a lot of this content. So I just filter out my curtain wall panels, for instance, and I can come in here and I can select all the same, brick. And now I've got this, brick. Which one's this? What did I select? Is it facing the right way? Can't actually tell. Let's see if it's facing the right way. Oh yeah, it's facing the right way. You can see that curtain wall families can get pretty powerful pretty quickly. But I do want to caution us for, as we step into the next level of super advanced stuff, that what we can do is we can actually, if I unpin this, I can have this start looking the part. Obviously, we don't want curtain wall system section mullions inside of our wall assembly here. So you can see that I'm unpinning all of these mullions. Not always the smartest thing to do, because now I got to go back and put them back in. So for now, just to kind of give us a sense of what these panels can do, what their power is, I think for me, what I would suggest is you're in better off shape to just do a solid wall and then adjacent to it have a curtain wall. So in our case, we might just, wall, wherever we got walls, and then the curtain wall can kind of, let's just make this go up to, the curtain wall can be its own thing. I would suggest walls are walls, curtain walls are curtain walls. Use curtain walls for your glazed elements, your glass pieces, and that's it. But if we do have spandrel, we might want to, I'm going to jump back to shaded view here so I can see where my spandrel is. We might want to have some additional grids in here. So why that's important is as we kind of extend up our curtain wall, we're going to see that horizontal line kind of continue to repeat. You can also see my brick is also repeating here, so that's cool. And the way that we do that is you might be tempted to just jump straight to a mullion. Oops, cancel. And you're like, oh, I just want to put a mullion in. You're like, why can't I put a mullion in the stupid Revit? So, fair enough. That does happen to the best of us at times. So remember that in order to get a mullion into the set here, we actually need to jump back to architecture, grab our curtain wall grid, and now we can actually figure out if we go to a vertical grid, where could I insert another line, a kind of horizontal datum within my curtain wall grid that might be helpful for something like a spandrel panel. So if I go ahead and I click here, you should see a brand new line with all of our mullions already drawn in, because that's what our family is currently showing. So we can also choose one segment. So if I come in here, I can just choose one piece. And you'll see as you kind of work through it here, that, come on, give it to me. that this tool especially can be a little challenging. But we should have, if I tab through here, I should see my grid somewhere. Maybe I just make this 0. Delete grid line. It's because I made them the same and then deleted it. Wonderful. Maybe I want to add a segment here. So add. I'm just adding little pieces here. Might be something you want to do. You can see the one on the end here is still missing, but that is just another step in how we might generate additional grid lines within our spandrel panel system, or within our curtain wall system, I should say. And the last thing is, if we do want to swap out, say we want to swap out this little piece here, we can just change it from curtain wall glazed to curtain wall solid. And we can go ahead and we can actually select all of these in here. If I use my filter tool and just hit check none, I'm going to select my curtain wall panels and jump to curtain wall solid. And now I've got all solid panels. Wonderful. So for us, it's probably sufficient. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into our model that we've been working on and just set up a pretty standard grid, but let's see if we can do it real as fast as possible. I'm going to jump in here, and I'm going to have to regenerate that curtain wall grid that I made. But if I jump down to curtain wall exterior glazing, that's cool. Hit edit type. I'm going to duplicate this one just for fun. Glazing. Normally, I would like to call these, EW, maybe even CW for curtain wall 1, and we'll call it typical, something like this. Curtain wall typical, fixed distance 1500. You know what though? I'm going to double check what our height is here. I think it's 4100, but we may need to adjust that as things go forward. So let's go ahead and grab 50 by 150, right? We're going to grab all our 50 by 150s here. Blam, blam, blam. And now, whoops, wrong one. 50 by 150. If I hit OK, I should see everything update. Pretty rad, right? So now we've got all this fun stuff happening in here. I do know that I should probably add a little bit of what's happening here. Something weird is happening at my base constraint. So my base constraint should probably be, oh, I see, my offset's all messed up. So let's make the base constraint level 1 and see. Nice. Looking pretty good. I guess level 1 is slightly different. So if I'm going to jump to a section here, let's just double check what's going on here. So I think the level 1 grid is going to be a little bit different, right? Is that the case? 41, 41, 41, 41. So in this case, what I'm probably going to do is I can either make my standard grid 4100, or I can kind of craft multiple walls. I still think 4100 makes the most sense. So let's just jump back to 3D here. And what I'm actually going to do is, what do I want to do here? I guess what we'll do is, I probably want this to go from level 1 to level 5, roof. Level 1 to the roof. Let's make sure that all makes sense. Up to roof, right? Still looking pretty good. However, I do want to raise these grid lines, and all these grid lines are going to be, even though they're 4100, I need them to be up. I need to move those grid lines up so that they match the top of the floor. So that's really just a design exercise. But for us, first thing I should do is probably, and you guys might not be here, but probably the first thing I should do is go even higher. So I probably want to go above the roof by, we'll call it 750. Let's do 750. 750, and that'll give us a little bit of a parapet here. You may or may not be here, and I want to make sure I got all my walls doing that. So I'm just going to go ahead and hopefully I got some walls in here. Check none. Oh, nuts. It's going to give me all my walls, which I just said that I wanted, but I don't want all of them. I just want these. Make my top constraint my roof, and then go up by 750. We should see a little parapet. Ta-da! Little parapet all the way around the building. And now What is happening here? Oh, right. I literally just said this, didn't I? So what I want to do is I really want to move my entire curtain wall grid up by 200. So this is why, setting the grids out early, of course, it makes a lot of sense, but now you can see already I'm probably going to unpin these. So why do I want to unpin them? Because I need it to be 4,300 on the first floor. So could do this any number of ways. I would argue there's some, most people would probably want to do this floor by floor. For us, for right now, I'm going to change this to 4,300, and you'll see that nothing else changes when I do this. So 4,300, and now my curtain wall grid is kind of at the top of the, so you can't pin it back. This is great. So I'm going to tab select here and get my second one, and I wonder if I can do it this way. I'm just going to unpin it, and I want this also to be 4,100. And you can see the kind of the challenge of Revit using these rules to do everything for us. So I'm just going to quickly change all these to 4,100, and we should see our tab. You can tab select to get to the curtain wall grid. Make this 4,100. Move that one up. Similar up here. Unpin. Make this 4,100. Ta-da! Looking pretty sharp. Right? Nice. I know some of us, I heard some conversations about, our buildings being too simple. In my opinion, when we got something like this, perfect grid, nothing wrong with that. So my opinion doesn't matter in this classroom about design. I just want us to provide and fulfill the requirements of the program. So you can see here, one thing we might want to do is line up our curtain wall. So we can see here that it's not quite lining up on the grid. So we can probably go ahead and we're going to move one of these so that we can line them up with one of the grid lines. So if I look at this, just so everybody is picking up what I'm putting down, I really want to see a line of my column aligned with a center line of one of these mullions. So in order to do that, I'm going to jump to a plan view. Doesn't really matter which one because I think we've got anyone except the parking. Let's jump to level 2 here just so we can see what's going on. Where is my curtain wall? So if I click on this, you can see that I'm not aligned. So what I want to do is I actually want to bring this over. Ta-da! Look at that. So we're going to need to clean this up a little bit. But if I pull this way, let's just maybe to the edge there and clean that up later. Remember, we're only in schematic design. We can afford some challenges. Of course, now my grid is not locked. So how do I do this? Let's do align and, excuse me guys, we're gonna have to redo this. I guess what I want to do is dimension 2. What? Turn on a little thin line here. Wow. I don't know why that happened, but here we are. I don't want to move the pinned element. I just want to align my curtain wall. Oh, maybe that's what's happening. It's freaking out. Move that back, and now all looks good. To pull this over, is it gonna freak out again? Let's see what we get. Nope. Okay, perfect. Oh, didn't stay. Why didn't that stay? So really the idea here is that we want to align the curtain wall with those those 1500 millimeters. So we should still see that from here to the next curtain wall should be 1500. That's all good. The grid line to grid line, I think, should be 9. So you can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements for the curtain wall here. It's looking pretty good. The only place where this is going to change is going to be at the edges, right? So if I come over here, this is actually probably going to be some other unit. So if I move this back, it shouldn't, yeah, this is why I have to look this up, guys. But it should actually lock just to our piece here. So I got that pinned. Let's see if I can do a quick little dimension string here and make sure this stays locked. Do this real quick and see if this is going to mess up. Right. Okay, I'll have to do some research. I don't remember how to do that. So that's okay. So for now, 1500 is looking unconstrained. That's fine. It's looking pretty good. So with the exception of our little zone down here, we might actually have to go in and manually. That doesn't make any sense to me. I might have to go in and manually do this. But for right now, this is looking pretty close to what I wanted to get to. For us, you can see here in elevation, we are really looking like we are lined up and locked in on our grid. So 6 panels per piece, and then we've got 6 panels per grid, and then we've got our little parapet on top. We're also lined up with the top of our slab here. Now, what else we might want to do? Well, we probably need to create a little spandrel, just kind of where the oh, you know what? I'm realizing one error here is that our floor is actually missing the top piece, so we need to have our raised access floor, right? So I think that it is on top of here. We've got I think we've got 450 worth of air. Isn't that right? Air in here, so you can search air. Whoops, not RA, air. And we'll make that substrate. That's fine. That's substrate. 450, and then insert, and let's do substrate again, and I think it's 50 millimeters on top. Now I think we'll call it for steel or concrete. Let's just do steel for now. Sure, steel. And now if I hit OK, oops. Oh, it's cool though. So it's just pushed everything down. So that's all good, except that yeah, top of finished floor. So that's all good. The challenge here is going to be, you know, what is our spandrel panel going to be? So if I choose my curtain grid here, what we want to do is we can actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to jump into our curtain grid, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a new one. Remember, you have to be selecting one of the vertical elements in order to kind of get it proper. I'm going to select it here, and where is my dimension? We'll probably make it, does 850 make sense? Can't remember what our overall depth of this is. 850 looks to make sense here. Normally, if this isn't pinned, we can just copy it, but let's see what we can do here. So copy, CO is copy, and let's see if it's going to let us. Yep, should let us copy it down. And again, and it's up to you from a design perspective. Maybe you want to keep it the same. Maybe you want to modify it a little bit. Now, usually what happens is at the very top here, you usually have a slightly different grid at the top, because usually there's a bigger, what do I want to say? Usually there's a bigger kind of piece to this parapet, right? So you can try and keep that equal, and maybe want to bring down the overall height of the parapet. But really, this is about where I was thinking we would get to. And if I jump to my 3D view here, whoops, wrong 3D view. Let's jump to 3D. Oh, I'm in 3D. We should see what I would imagine is each one of these little bands here should actually be some spandrel. So right now it's still showing glazed. And what we're going to do is we can come in here and we can actually select all of these. If I hold Control, I'm going to select all of my spandrel panels. So spandrel means that it's, you know, non-opaque. And I'm going to go to filter here, and I'm going to do just the panels. So if I hit OK, and now I'm going to change that glaze to solid. And if I go back to a shaded view, whoops, shade is maybe not the best, but consistent colors, we should see this idea of now our structure is being hidden using these little spandrel panels. So if I jump to a section, we should see, yeah, this is better. We should see kind of in this zone, this is kind of in section. In this zone, we've got, if I tab select. This is my solid piece, and this is my glazed piece. So anyway, that is how to kind of get at some of these challenges inside of Revit using our curtain wall system section family. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll probably pause there, and we'll see you guys in class on Tuesday or Wednesday if I've got you. And if I don't, then good luck with the assignment tonight, and we'll catch up soon this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Talk to you soon. Bye.